our election coverage this morning, the campaigning is wrapping up and it's time for the voters to cast their ballots.
The polls open here in Sedgwick County in less than half an hour, and Cake's Jordan Shefty is live in northwest Wichita where last-minute preparations are underway. Jordan?
Good morning, Mike and Jamel. Today is the day the election has finally arrived, and as you said, poll workers are busy here getting the area ready. They're putting together signs, making sure those computers are up and running. Now they're just waiting for you to show up. We actually already have a couple of voters here waiting, even though the polls don't open for about another half hour. But as you get ready to head out your door to go make your vote, don't forget to bring with you your ID. This is the first general election in which the voter IDs will be in place. As a reminder, valid forms of identification include a driver's license, a passport, military, and student IDs. You will also be required to provide a signature. The law went into effect January 1st of this year. The primary election was the first time the law was practiced. While there were a few issues, overall it worked fine at most polling places. Again, the polls open up this morning at 6 o'clock in Sedgwick County. Other counties open at 7. To continue covering our election coverage, you can visit our website, cakelandvotes.com. Reporting live out in northwest Wichita, Jordan Shefty, Cake News.
The big day, as we said, is finally here, and polls in Sedgwick County are now open.
Cake's Jordan Shefty live at a polling location in northwest Wichita where the first voters are making their way inside. Jordan.
Mike and Jamel, Election Day has finally arrived, and already out here at Olivet Baptist Church, there is quite the line that has formed. The doors just opened about 30 seconds ago, so all these people are here ready to make their voices heard by casting a vote, and we had quite the crowd gathering out in the lobby since about 5:30 this morning. They say they're just trying to beat the lines that are expected later today. The big draw to this election is obviously the presidential election, but there's also another item on the ballot that will be drawing a number of Wichita voters out to the polls. That's the fluoride debate. The Secretary of State is predicting voter turnout to be low at just 68% in the state of Kansas. And if early voting is any indication, he could be right. The Sedgwick County Election Commissioner says that they saw only 50% of the amount of people vote in person in advance than in 2008. But the number of mail-in ballots they've sent out is up by about 4,000. So let's go out there, prove them wrong, make sure to get your vote cast today, and then you can proudly sport one of these I voted stickers. Don't forget to bring your ID with you when you head to the polls. Reporting live out in northwest Wichita, Jordan Shefty, Cake News.
In our election coverage this morning, the campaigns have wrapped up and voters are casting their ballots.
Polls here in Sedgwick County opened about a half hour ago. They've been open since 6 o'clock. Cake's Jordan Shefty is live at a polling station in northwest Wichita. Jordan, what's the turnout like so far?
Good morning, Mike and Jamel. It is here. Election Day has finally arrived. And as you can see out here in Sedgwick County, the lines are pretty long bright and early this morning. They have remained steady long like this since the doors opened about a half hour ago. I talked with the supervising judge. She says that in her 10 years of working out here at Olivet Baptist Church, these are the longest lines that she has seen this early in the morning. And while the polls have appeared busy this morning, voter turnout is expected to be low. Secretary of State Chris Kobach says that he predicts that about 1.2 million Kansas voters are expected to turn out to vote in the general election. That's only about a 68% voter turnout. If his estimate is correct, this would be the smallest percentage of Kansas voters casting ballots in a general election since 2000. Cake News talked to the Sedgwick County Election Commissioner yesterday, who said that in-person advance voting is down from 2008, but they have mailed out more ballots than 2008. Polls opened up here in Sedgwick County just about a half hour ago. Again, the lines have remained steady long. The rest of the counties will open up here in just about a half hour, right about at 7 o'clock. And make sure to bring your ID with you when you head to the polls. For updates on the election, you can visit our election webpage, cakelandvotes.com. Reporting live out in northwest Wichita, Jordan Shefty, Cake News.
After more than a year of campaigning, Election Day is finally here. Cake's Jordan Shefty is live at a polling location in northwest Wichita. Jordan.
Mike and Jamel, take a look at these lines. They have been like this since the doors opened about an hour ago. They've been long and steady with people continuously coming through that door. I talked with the supervising judge. She says that in her 10 years of working out here at Olivet Baptist Church, these are the longest lines that she's seen this early in the morning. To keep up with the crowds, they've actually added an additional paper ballot voting station, just a sign of how many people are coming out to vote this morning. There are obviously big draws to come and cast your vote. Obviously, we've got the presidential election. Another ballot that's going to be drawing out a number of Wichita voters is that fluoride debate. They'll be bringing a number of people to the polls. Another thing helping out is that the race is expected to be competitive. It's going to be close all the way to the end. It's expected to be. And just a reminder, as you head to the polls this morning, don't forget to bring your ID with you. To keep up with the election as the day progresses, you can visit our election website, cakelandvotes.com. We're live out in Northwest Wichita. Jordan Shefty, Cake News.
Time now for our 2012 election coverage. People are heading to polling places today to cast their votes, and seems like big numbers.
And those lines are getting pretty long out there. We've seen some pictures on our Twitter pages and on Facebook. You can see the line, some of them outside the door. Some places look like 30, 40 people. I talked with one person earlier who had to wait about 45 minutes, and they went in pretty early this morning before they headed off to work. So let's get over to Jordan Shefty now. She's live in West Wichita at a polling place. How is it there, Jordan?
Mike and Jamel, as you can see, the lines from earlier this morning have only continued to grow. This line actually snakes through the gymnasium. People are waiting. I talked to one person at the front of the line. He said that he had been in line for about 20 to 25 minutes, so it might be a little deceiving. They're moving them through pretty quickly. The big draw for this race, that highly contested presidential election.
Well, it's your civic responsibility, and it's your chance to have a say in an election, and it's an important election. It's probably the most important election of my lifetime.
Remember, lunchtime is approaching, so these lines will probably just continue to grow. Make sure to plan and leave yourself some time to make sure you can get through there. To move through the line more quickly, make sure to have your ID ready as you approach check-in. Also, poll workers have told me that if you go over and cast your vote via paper, it can make your process a little bit quicker as well. So just a couple of tips to make it a little bit easier on you. To stay updated throughout the day, make sure to check out our election website. It's www.cakelandvotes.com. Reporting live in Northwest Wichita, Jordan Shefty, Cake News.
And now to your 2012 election coverage. People are filling the polling places, waiting to cast their votes today.
And those lines are getting long. Cake's Jordan Shefty has been at the polls all morning and joins us now with the very latest. Jordan.
Mike and Jamel, Election Day is finally here, giving people their opportunity to make their voice heard, and that's just what people are doing out here at Olivet Baptist Church. Take a look at the line behind me. It curves and twists throughout the gymnasium out here. Plenty of people standing in line. I talked with people up at the front of the line. They say it takes about 30, 35, 40 minutes to get through. So just make sure to allow yourself plenty of time to avoid any frustration there at the polls. Seems contrary to what Secretary of State Chris Kobach was predicting. He said that he thought that only 1.2 million Kansas voters would turn out to vote in the general election. That's a 68% voter turnout. If his estimate is correct, this would be the smallest percentage of Kansas voters casting ballots in a general election since 2000. Cake News talked to the Sedgwick County Election Commissioner yesterday, who said that in-person advance voting is down from 2008, but they have mailed out more ballots than in 2008. Despite his estimate, the Secretary of State estimate, there were large crowds at the polling location all throughout today.
When we opened the doors, this was the longest line. I've been here about 10 years, and this was the longest line that we've had when we opened the doors at 6 o'clock.
To shorten your wait, just make sure you have your ID ready to go. Also, I've been told that the paper ballot voting area takes a lot less time than the computer area. You can see all these people here in line are waiting to use the computer. So if you want to take the time to fill out the little bubbles on the paper ballot, it might save you some time in the long run. For continuing coverage throughout the day, make sure to visit our election webpage, cakelandvotes.com. Reporting live in Northwest Wichita, Jordan Shefty, Cake News.